By most accounts, objectively, I'm pretty much a nerd. Pretty straightforward. I am a nerd. And like most nerds, I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I'm a nerd. I'm proud of the fact that I nerd out. I'm proud that I live tweet Cosmos with extreme fervor in appreciation of everything Neil deGrasse Tyson is doing, but especially his mustache. The social status of the nerd has definitely gone through a paradigm shift over the past 15 years, whereas somebody in the mid-90s who was a nerd may have gotten their face punched and may have been locked in lockers and generally not liked during high school. Nowadays, nerds are pretty cool. I think with the advent of things like the internet, the overwhelming popularity of video games, we see that nerds are pretty rad people, and I agree with them. I think they're the raddest people. But I think it's interesting when you think about this in a historical context, because this is not the first time it has happened that nerds have become cool. Before we continue, I think we should hash out a definition, a working definition of what nerd is. To me, a nerd is somebody who has focused passion on something that is outside of the mainstream or is in general considered to be weird or abnormal. I think the more important part of this definition is the focused passion, because you can be a nerd about mainstream things. A lot of things that nerds nerd out on become mainstream because of the focused passion on that, and then everybody nerds out over them. So let's go back, shall we? In Greco-Roman times, right, the nerds were cool. The intellectuals, the philosophers, the mathematician, they were rad people, and people liked those people. But the dang Visigoths had to come in, burn everything, send us into the Dark Ages, and at that point, nerds were not cool anymore. As a matter of fact, in the Dark Ages, if you thought outside the box and focused on something that wasn't the church, you were killed, burned at the stake. But the nerds are a resilient bunch. You can't hold them down because in comes the Renaissance and everybody wants to be a nerd again. Everybody wants to relearn things. They want to create stuff. They want to nerd out over cool things like egg tempera painting and painting ceilings and learning about things and writing literature and being nerdy about that stuff. One of the most well-known nerds of all time, Willie Shakespeare, comes from this time because he's totally a nerd. Willie Shakes, totes a nerd. This influx of nerddom continues through to the Age of Enlightenment, the Industrial Revolution. People are thinking outside the box, nerding out over machines, trying to figure out how we can do things more easily and more efficiently. But then a few world wars come in and kind of break the combo because nerds' energies are then forced by governments into making weapons of death. And that's not really a good time to be a nerd. So throughout much of the 20th century, nerds were not cool anymore. That was until the space race, and nerds became cool again because we wanted to go to the moon. We wanted to beat the dang Russians, and we did. We did beat the dang Russians, thanks to our stolen Nazi scientists. Go America! And then we got to the moon, right? And then we kind of got bored, because the next step after that, Mars, is, pretty hard to get to, as a matter of fact, pretty hard. So your average everyday person was not as concerned about nerdy things because nerdy things weren't as exciting. We weren't going to the moon, we weren't going to Mars, we were still studying, still doing amazing work, but it wasn't as exciting. And this lull in nerddom lasted until the internet came about. And we are in an exciting time to be a nerd, my friends, because nerds are back. They are better than ever. I think it's interesting when you look at it from that perspective because there definitely is a correlation between acceptance of nerdy activities and innovation. Whereas high schools used to be a place where if you were even a little bit different, you would be in fear constantly of being ridiculed. They're becoming more accepting now. There's different communities arising within high schools, and there's more opportunities to learn to be yourself and to be the best yourself you can be. And confidence is so important if anybody wants to innovate anything, because if you're not confident, if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to change anything, nothing is gonna change. Especially in the context of YouTube, I feel extremely grateful that I am a huge YouTube nerd because this is a brand new entertainment medium that has just sprung up in the last 10 years, and that is something extremely exciting to be a part of. I think the whole point of this video is to emphasize that right now, we're living in a really cool time. It's a time when curiosity is on the rise again, when we're encouraged to blaze our own trails, to deconstruct the aspects of society that we don't like and build up the ones that we do, to create something better, to create something beautiful for each and every person. I think that the internet is definitely responsible for that because the internet is a place that is not a place, but it's a place where you can do whatever you want and you can talk about whatever you want. There's no limitation to what you can do, and as a result of that, some truly innovative things have happened because of it. While all the chapters of the story of us so far have been pretty rad, I think the one that's being written right now, it's pretty super rad. And I know for me, I'm definitely gonna ride this wave while it's happening, and I'm gonna nerd out when I see fit, where I see fit, to whom I see fit. And as always, I'm Connor Manning, you've just become a little more awesome, and I will see you guys on Friday. Hey, so remember when I said I was going to be at Playlist Live? Well, I'm not just going to be at Playlist Live, okay? I'm on a panel. It's about small channels. I'm not going to rhyme any further than that. But yeah, on Saturday at 3 p.m., I'm going to be on a panel, so if you're going to be there, come check that out. We're going to be talking about super interesting things. At least they're interesting to me. And then afterwards, you can come and hang out, and we can be best friends. I'm down. Are you down? Because I'm down. I'm so down.